Good morning, good afternoon, good night. It's J Draws Manga here, back again with another banger video. And I just woke up, I'm a bit cranky, you know what I mean? But, I gotta get these videos out, bro, you know what I'm saying? So today, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be talking about character design, what I do for my character designs, and how to design a character, and tips and tricks, etc. Basically, most of the things you need to know about designing a character. Now, before we start this video, let me say I'm not a teacher. I'm just an artist like you learning. But I want to share the information that I've received with you, so you artists can also, help yourselves, So yeah, let's get to it. So before we start this video, I just want to say, do what you want. At the end of the day, it is your character. The design can be whatever you want. Just make sure that the design has a meaning behind it. If you give them a giant scar in the middle of their faces and scars all over their body while having them like scrawny and skinny and weak and not give any context or any explanation throughout the story, when you do something like that, like an explanation must be given, even if it's a slight one, because that will just cause the reader to become enticed, and continue reading and watching, Of course, if you give them the explanation. If you don't, they're just going to be confused. But yeah. So here, let's start. So the first thing we're going to talk about is simplicity. Simplicity is okay. You don't have to make them look complex to look good. An example is Naruto's headband. I'm pretty sure before the Naruto manga was created, he used to wear these goggles, these really detailed goggles, And the creator of Naruto, Masashi Kishimoto, he decided to switch those goggles out for the headband that we all know and love today, because those goggles, they just took too long to draw. They were too detailed, they were too time consuming, and Naruto still looks good. His headband is simple, but it's recognizable, it's good, So, that's sort of like why simplicity is okay. It's good when making manga and comics, since you're going to be drawing the character again and again and again. So, it's not that bad. And my character, Luca Benjamin, who I'm drawing right now, is simplistic because it sort of adds to his personality, And this idea dwells onto another point, this simplicity that adds to personality. And this is reason. When designing your character, reasoning should always be in mind. For example, one of my characters, Luca Benjamin, has a very simplistic design because of his cowardly and defensive, yet broad nature. Something that's plain and simple perfectly describes that. Another example is one of my other characters from Sekai, Loki Lockstone, the Bloodman, who has a sharp fang visible from outside his mouth and a bright crimson red clothing all around him, with spiky black hair. So you can already guess what kind of character this is, from these descriptions, You want to take a guess? I mean, he's very headstrong. He's violent, relentless, chaotic. He's a piece of mess who just loves fighting, really, And here we're going to go into the reasoning why I've done all this, So basically, the color red is seen as the color of blood. Blood insinuates violence. Violence insinuates chaos and rage. However, red can also be seen as the color of love, which is a big part of Loki's development. His relationship with another character called Zaria is a very noticeable theme that constantly comes up in the story. You see what I did there? I turned a single color into multiple meanings. The same could be said with the fangs he bears. Fangs are prevalent in the animals and beasts such as lions and snakes, etc. This conveys to the audience that Loki's animalistic nature, his spiky sharp hair, and etc. is an obvious relation to the idea of violence and an offensive nature, as weapons such as swords and knives are sharp. You guys get what I'm saying here? So, I could go on and on about this, but basically, these are the things that you want to think about when designing a character. Again, there really aren't any rules to it, but, when you want to make a good story, there are some rules that, all must apply to, even manga artists, So, yeah. I guess that's sort of really it. The other things I could talk about is stuff like making the character stand out, or making him very noticeable or rememberable, or unique. So in my case, you won't see it now, or actually maybe you might see it now, I don't know, the video is slowed down when I'm talking. But in my case, with Mr. Benjamin, he has got a very plain sort of torso, where it comes to his like the stuff he wears, you know, on his chest and arms, but his pants are a very bright green color, you know, and the contrasting, you know, colors, there's a nasty dark brown and there's a nice bright green. I think that makes the character very, very memorable, because it sort of tells you like, oh, look at this, that's not bad, look at this, that is good, you know. It sort of messes with the brain a bit, and you know, it causes the reader or the viewer or consumer to focus, you know, and look at it, you know. So that's the kind of thing I was going for when I was making Mr. Benjamin, or Luca Benjamin, you know. So yeah, I gave him purple eyes too. You might not see it now, but yeah, you can see, purple eyes. So yeah, I guess that's really it. When it comes to other characters like Loki, for example, I made his whole character bright red, because red sort of tells you to just stop and look at it. You know, red is the sign. You know, when you're driving, it tells you to stop. Green tells you to go. You know, all the signs on the road, they when they say stop, they're always red. So you know, that kind of focuses on the character a little bit. You know, and yeah, that's basically it. You know, I could talk about this for ages. Like, you know, I've done my research, you know, I know quite a bit, but yeah, so that's the end of the video. I hope you guys take care. I hope it was very informative, and I'll see you guys later. You know, take care, goodbye. You know, yeah.